And so I'd like to turn to you, Dr. Momole, because I know you've done quite a lot of work around this conflict. Are we kind of certain and clear about the people that are attacking the people of Benue in particular? And we will take some of these conflicts one by one and try and get to the bottom of them, because I, in my travel, found that actually each conflict has like a different nature. But I'd like you to respond to her. They're herdsmen, they're coming to Benue, they're attacking, they're killing, they're grazing. Is that what you found out?
Well, maybe just to start from the more general perspectives, just to come, I think what the Honorable Minister says, you know, are the long-term structural causes that have been taking place. But in the most recent years, you find out that there were three major developments. First of all, the structures of governance that were responsible for the administration of rural landscape collapsed. And those were the native authorities and the traditional institutions. These people were responsible for the governance of land, for the governance of forest, for the governance of water resources. Today, nobody is in charge of these critical land resources. So you expect to see collapse in the system. That is number one. Number two, the conflicts management and inter-community relations, those mechanisms that ensured harmonious coexistence between communities, also collapsed in the wake of two interrelated developments. An intelligentsia that has failed to have a vision for Nigeria and which falls back into its micropism of its own ethnic and religious group at the very local level, and rather than supporting local communities to build partnership for development, to develop broad-mindedness, to have a national vision, they tended to narrow back their communities to see themselves as exclusive entities for which no other Nigerian should benefit anybody from that particular entity. And then at the second level, a community leadership that is devoid of the knowledge and wisdom of the governance of multi-ethnic, multi-religious, and multi-resource user groups. You know, the traditional institutions in the past, every village head, every district head knows every village within his terrain. He grew up in the village, he lives with the village, he knows all the pastoralists, he knows all the farmers, he knows the boundaries of the farm plots of everybody. But what we started to see from the 1980s into the 90s is retired elites of my nature who spend all their lives in the cities and maybe other foreign countries, coming back to take community leadership. And then they become like what we normally describe as tourists, because they live in the cities, they go to the village either on a Friday or on a Sunday to attend the church service, have 1 hour to listen to community complaints, and then to come back to the cities. Okay. So there was no governance. Okay. So it's the absence.
But it still doesn't explain why we have people killing other people.
Exactly. So what you find is that with these failures, there was a polarization of society. And this polarization of society is responsible for the carnage we are seeing now. If you offend me, I have no mechanisms for redress. If a pastoralist offends a farmer, he has no effective mechanisms for redress. And we place few institutions at a very critical stage. Now, who took over the management of this? It's mostly run back to the police. And the Nigerian police are not well trained.
Okay, so let me bring in the police right here. Yeah, because it's important that, you know, I allow everybody to talk. This has to be a balanced conversation. It's really important that it is. You heard some of the things that the minister said, Dr. Momole said, but even more importantly, what Iya said regarding the pattern of attacks starting sort of from 2013 to date. Why have we not seen the police respond, for example, to this sort of issues, especially where it is clear that these things are going to happen again and again?
Well, I'm delighted to be here. Well, I will start from this angle. Definitely it's worrisome and, you know, disturbing, all these incidents that we're having. Basically, what we do most of the time is either to be proactive or reactive. And if you look at the past, not that we have not been intervening, we have been having interventions. We have been having secret interventions. But sometimes, most times, it does not happen at the same place. Like what is happening in Benue now. You know, when it happened previously in other areas, we intervened. And we sometimes
so why couldn't you intervene in Benue?
We have
if you intervened in
before
other places?
You'll be very much impressed with the actions we have taken before we end this program. Because I'm here to tell you how far we have gone, but I won't go there now. And we are trying to tell you that so far so good, we always have intervention. Okay? Sometimes because of the nature of the terrain, because of the isolatory nature of the villages, sometimes it's difficult for police to react immediately. You know, because most times, you know, the actions are always spontaneous. But once it starts, you will see us there and everything will, like what is happening in Benue now.
No,
we're encouraging people to go back.
Let me just take you back a little bit. We heard that because there's a pattern of attacks, many times you can predict these things that are going to happen. And so the idea that because they are far, you can't react, that means you're doing reactive policing. You're not actively...
You're getting me wrong.
Okay.
With due respect to you. I'm saying that these incidents don't happen at a particular place all the time. It happens, either it happens in Benue today or Adamawa tomorrow, you know, so that we are extremely proactive. But when we have information, useful information, we react immediately. When you talk of incidents happening at the same time, like what is happening in Benue now, I'm assuring you that we're on top of it, and I'm assuring you that for a long time to come, it may not reoccur. If you look at where we are today, the stance, the actions we have taken so far, you will know that we are at our best. We have over 15 units of mobile men on ground. We have locked up the whole place. And what we are trying to do is confidence building, trying to bring the people back. You know, because of, like I said, the isolated nature of the place, once in a while, we have incidents happen here or there, but we are there. You are aware that the IG was there for 1 week. The Inspector General of Police was there for 1 week. And with the DIG, the is there right now, and we are, with time, let's continue with the program. I'm going to tell you the actions we have taken so far. Everybody will be impressed. We are on ground. If you call Benue right now, they will tell you that some people are even making efforts to go back.
Quickly, is that a satisfying explanation?
Sir, I was in Benue the weekend after the mass burial. And that was the weekend the Inspector General of Police was asked to relocate there.
Yes.
I saw him because I stayed in the same hotel.
Good.
I saw him for 1 night.
Yes.
Second night, didn't see him. I spoke to someone highly placed who there were now riots happening or some disturbances happening in Wadata.
Yes.
Around Wadata Makudi. It was so bad. You're aware of this. They chased people into the police station and people were taken. Thank you very much, sir.
106
now,
suspects
at that point,
okay, I don't want to get bogged into...
May I finish? But the point being that if you had people on ground, how is it such that people were even able to start threatening even the police station? How is it, sir, that you've said those places are isolated? What kind of intelligence services do you have on the ground in Benue that they cannot follow, as our Honorable Minister has said here, the course of the river, the course of the water? This is something we know. We know they follow the river in those attacks. So how come it is that we don't have the proactive? I beg to disagree with you, sir. It seems it is a lot more reactive policing going on.
And we are going to give him a chance. So we are going to give you a chance to respond, but we have to take a quick break. Don't go away.